Welcome in to Discover Crypto in the Blockchain Basement. I am your host, The Druth, and it is midday. Trading is alive. The markets are alive on crypto and Bitcoin, showing some aggression, moving to that upper part of our channel that we've been developing and looking at here on the Discover Crypto / Basement midday show. It's kind of new, but I'm having a lot of fun doing so, you guys. Welcome to the show. We have a very, very interesting tug-of-war going on between DeFi giants. Now we got Aave coming out with major incentives to drive a lot of traction over to Aave out of a lot of some of my favorite projects. So I'm going to be taking a look at this and really what it means in general for those projects, if I should be concerned. We're going to be doing a lot of investigation into current TVL on these chains to make sure the lights are still on and that they are still alive and well. And absolutely, yesterday we lost Ozzy Osbourne. This week's been full of hits. I gotta say, I absolutely loved Ozzy Osbourne's music and jammed it all day yesterday. And then today, I come to find out, I'm going through all the news. I got very, very sad news. Here it is right now. Let's add this to the stage. Hulk Hogan has passed away. Rest in peace, Hulk Hogan, you savage. You man of men. The Hulk Hogan was an absolute legend. Shout out to him. I remember many snippets from my childhood watching Hulk Hogan just smashing on stage. Shout out to you, man. Now, before we get too far into the show here, there is a larger pattern playing out on Bitcoin that I want us to pay particular attention to. We're at levels that are very, very important for that next major move, which I do think we are coming to that crescendo point of. In this move, talking about $140,000 Bitcoin target in the shorter term. Absolutely crazy numbers are what it looks like are coming for Bitcoin, but not just Bitcoin. The larger crypto market is starting to wake up. We're going to be taking a look at dominance as well. Hulkamaniacs are depressed. You ain't lying. You ain't lying. R.I.P. Hulk. Whatever. Okay, overthinker. Sufficient enough. Lucas, Randy, Rathbun. We're pouring some drink. I'm getting my drink ready here. It's kind of the process. New schedule coming out at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for you folks here on Discover Crypto. This is, of course, the Basement Special. We have some great content about to drop on the Blockchain Basement YouTube channel, you guys. We're dropping our next video Friday at 5 p.m. So make sure that you're subscribed to the Blockchain Basement as well as, of course, Discover Crypto. Working together here. We're getting ready for a big, big move. Got Isaac packing up things, getting the studios ready to go to a new spot. I'm so excited about it. Gonna set up a new gym situation. It's gonna be interesting. You gotta continue the gym. The gym is a must, I feel, for clear thinking and really just strong based center to operate off of every single day, especially when I'm out here trading. I am currently in a trade. We'll take a look at it here. Entered in, gave the shout out in the Discover Investments Group Discord that I was entering the trade. Now we're up 20%. Made a nice around, like, what is this, $500? It looks like it is trying to break out. Above and beyond this, I am keeping an eye on it, kind of like the manual stop loss guy right now. Entered the trade, and we are starting to cook on this. Now up 21%. Some interesting things have happened on Bitcoin's price chart over the course of this morning that have made me very, very excited. Now, it is an Aave long. I've seen a lot of narrative, a lot of lore going into expansion of the Aave ecosystem. Now, I love all things DeFi, but the thing that I love about DeFi is that it makes me money. And I was holding certain coins that really just didn't seem that they had the oomph a few months ago. I consolidated a lot of those into things like Morpho, a lot of DeFi plays on Base. But what Aave has come out with this morning, man, this puts some pressure on those up-and-coming DeFi protocols. We're going to be talking about that for sure today. Major implications going on there. Blessing Crow, thoughts, thanks. I'll look at Crow, crypto.com. I mean, there is some interesting difference in Crow Chronos token situation now in this market compared to last market where we saw Crow go to blistering highs. I mean, Crow absolutely ripped in the alt season of 2021. So I could take a look at that for you. I'm going to take a sip of the drink. We're going to take a sip together. Let's check out on this trade. Let's see how we're doing. Right around 20%. Okay. So now we got to see, are we cooked? Are we cooked, chat? Let's go here. This is very interesting. Bitcoin. Now, I think still Bitcoin drives a lot of these altcoins in their price. Yes, Ethereum has started to outpace to the upside, but also to the downside, as any good altcoin should do. This is a trade range that we've developed and had been able to be operating off of in the Discover Investments Core Discord group, which is an absolute blessing. This is heavy sell side in the red, heavy buy side, heavy entry for long side in the green. And man, we have just been bouncing right in between this range. But on the larger scheme of things, I'll turn these market cipher support and resistance spots off so you can get a clearer view here. This is a very, very tight, concise range. And especially something worth noting here is that the sell-off candles are getting weaker and they're being eaten up more aggressively as we've progressed through the week. There's been attempts at downside pressure on Bitcoin throughout the week, yet these candle bodies have regained control in a very, very good way. And we also, on the 4-hour, see money flow starting to tick back up internally there on Bitcoin, thus leading me to the thesis that over the next 8 hours, we're going to retest in this sell box and essentially see if we run into that sell pressure and drop back down into this range. But what we're building up here is a good foothold to make a move into the next price zone, which we're going to talk about here a little bit. We got to chop it up. Now, in general, there's a few frames of thought and approach on this. You have just different, chart pattern analysis in terms of kind of like an ascending head and shoulders pattern, but also green dots on the weekly have signaled very, very clear buy zones. As you can see, I mean, the prices were way, way lower when these buy zones went off 2 times previous to our current situation here. Now, the latest buy signal on the weekly green dot printed April 2025 of this year. Now, we look at this. First one was 190%. Second one was 90% gain from signal to peak. And the third, I have a diminished expectation of around 60% of a pump from that level. And we are right on time for doing so. But really, we have to break out of that kind of channel that I was showing you right at the beginning of the show here. We go here on the daily. Again, you do see money flow moving to the upside, the wave trying to move to the upside, trying to keep the party going, which is great because we have a CME gap sitting right there. We are, right above a CME gap that by all rights did not get hit, did not get cleared out. So I have the CME gap highlighted in the purple box there. But essentially, I feel like this situation on the daily, I agree with Piano Matty B in looking at this as a kind of ascending head and shoulders, inverted head and shoulders. And really that target brings us to 140, but a 60% pump from that weekly green dot also brings us to that 140 essential target. And this is, again, a muted expectation from this previous signal. Instead of 90%, I'm figuring around 60% makes sense because the market caps have grown. Bulls get a little bit more exhausted. So since this signal printed, we have pumped about 40%. So looking for that final remaining 20% push out of this local move, and then really trying to prove our ground as far as where the support's going to be within this red Fibonacci sequence of 1.618 to 2.618. Now, if I'm looking at this, more psychological numbers I think are going to be important here. 125 is a likely place to be looking for that to hold up there. So, yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at on Bitcoin. Thus, why I have this bullish trading angle here. Smash that like for this trade that we got into this morning. gotta see how much more legs we really have here. Bitcoin might just end up tapping its head against the sell block and coming back down just in the short term, keep us right on the edge of our seats, keep us on the edge of our seats. Let's pull this up. So right now, 118.9, sell block essentially starts at around 119.5. But really in general, just buying and holding Bitcoin is the easiest asymmetric investment bet I've had and I could have imagined having within this entire century. Seeing the amount of adoption that's going on for, Bitcoin, crypto in general, I feel really, really good with where we're positioned, especially on the blockchain basement. We've built out pretty deep bags of DeFi altcoin picks. Okay. And with these, there's been some great expansion. And the Regulatory Clarity Acts we see being pushed forward right now at a legislative level are really setting the path forward and building the heavy highway to government and institutional DeFi involvement, which, if you're positioned ahead of these things actually happening, and can actually end up playing out like buying Coca-Cola in the early 1900s or one of those, historic level investments that really have life-changing potential. Because that's what I'm in this crypto game for, is to really set a new precedent for where my family can operate off of in the long term. So there is that. Can you please provide this is ridiculous. Where's the chat? Okay. Can you provide reasons why XRP is a good investment? I think on the positive side, I'll play the devil's advocate and give it the positives and the negatives. XRP's positives and negatives. These are positives. In the short term position from where it's at right now, it's sitting at number 3. It's holding $190 billion market cap. It's not a tiny market cap by any means. And I think that XRP is this is the simple way we have to. I know we're pretty deep in crypto and we understand a lot of the tokenomics, the outlooks, things to look out for in XRP. But the average person, they're going to go onto Coin Market Cap and they're going to be like, man, Bitcoin's already $120,000 or whatever. Look at Ethereum, 3K, all right, 4K, whatever it'll end up being. And then XRP, $3, $2, $4. It's more enticing for newbies. I don't want to be derogatory when I say it, but people that are new to crypto, they're just going to look at this menu and be like, oh, well, Tether. I mean, I know people that invest in Tether. Okay. I have had people approach me like, yeah, I got in this Tether. It just hasn't moved yet, man. I wonder why. There's a lot of people that are new to crypto that are outside the scope right now. So you have to keep in mind, they just look at this as a menu. Bitcoin clearly here to stay. They're going to be going down. And that's where, you bring up Pepe in the chat. It's really, Pepe is one of the better performing meme coins out there. Pepe is a lore-based meme that has a decent chart. It's a fraction of a penny. And people don't really look at tokenomics. They don't look at the holder amounts or the max supply or any of this stuff when that fever pitch hits. And Pepe is actually, from a chart perspective, actually designed quite well. So shout out to Pepe for doing a good job in terms of being a meme, keeping the lore going, all that jazz. It's a lot of work. I'm sure it is a lot of work. They got to work hard out there in the trenches to keep that attention going here. Pepe hates XRP. That's some quality lore. And now the negative of XRP. Let's talk about the negative of XRP. All right. So I got on a tangent about Pepe the frog. Now, XRP got a benefit of being a large market cap, but also the downfall of already being within the hundreds of billions of dollars. It becomes a much more difficult to move market cap as a altcoin when you are already in the hundreds of billions of dollars range. Now, what I could see also is, the tokenomics, they're not so bad if you do this discretionary look in the short term, flash view, market cap to price. But what's coming over the next year is a large amount of unlocks, and there's constant unlocks and selling on the open market. There's portions of XRP that is put into escrow, but a large amount of these tokens just get released and dumped on the open market. So keeping that in mind, increased inflation, if it can hit the $300 billion market cap, $400 billion market cap, then you're looking at like $5-6. So sure, you're outpacing inflation for a short amount of time, but remember, altcoins move violently up and down. So, when the music stops, when it comes to a close, like this peak at $3 that it experienced in 2018 was a flash. It came in a flash. So just keep in mind that when you're looking at these altcoin charts and they start to heat up, I mean, things are starting to heat up for altcoins. We have Bitcoin dominance coming down. It is giving up a little bit of ground and actually, really setting up a pretty good precedent to have at least similar situation to this fake out to the downside Bitcoin dominance gave us on Christmas Eve, December 23rd. It was when we statistically were watching out for a Bitcoin dominance drop off as well. When you compare this to halving cycles and the regular amount of time that it takes from the halving to that Bitcoin dominance falling down, we had these metrics that we had been watching for multiple cycles. And every single time you had the halving, 230 days from there, you would fall off a cliff. Same thing here, the halving, 230 days, we fell off a cliff. That this time, completely different. So this is a completely different design to Bitcoin dominance. This is institutional interest. This is the realization that a lot of these funds are not buying Bitcoin to just simply sell it within this particular cycle. This is a longer term vision investment design of market is what it is. And this is how we've had to deal with Bitcoin dominance lasting way longer than we expected it to actually start pulling back. Since this fake out time, it's been about 224 days. Thus, the beatdown morale within altcoin holders. We have these small pumps that are going on in altcoins, but I think altcoins are going so much higher than people are expecting. You'll see a lot of people, he's too bullish. He's coming out with too much inside information. All right. When insider trado, oh my, inside trader info. Yeah, right. I wish I had I was driving home and I was like, man, if I could just get insider info for like one time, just 100x, that would be the day. Yeah, I will talk about Crow too. I will talk about Crow. Let's get through some of this stories and kind of the news out of the way here. Obviously, RIP to Hulk. Miss you, man. I'm going to be watching some of your wrestling matches here tonight. Jim Cramer eyes Bitcoin, Ethereum, and a hedge against $37 trillion in U.S. debt. Chat, are we cooked? Is it over? Now Jim Cramer's on our side. Always very, very uncomfortable longing into an environment like this. We have Jim Cramer coming out bullish. I have a long open. I'm in danger. I feel uncomfortable about it. And, Jim Cramer, he's got a large audience, and you often are having to kind of rely on people above you to give you direction on where the good juice is going to go to in terms of market investment. He's probably, controlled by some actors in the background that may steer him the wrong direction just to keep retail on the fence, keep them head down, sitting in line. I think that if you feed Jim a little bit of misinfo, it'll really kind of shake up the market. So I will say that. Is Drew Mr. X? Clearly I am, man. I got that insider, IYKYK. Really how I operate here as a researcher / investor is by following the data, right? Following the data, which is something that we're going to be doing a large amount of today in terms of this DeFi sector. We are hitting a total value locked in DeFi of $138 billion. In general, we haven't even breached that previous all-time high. I think that there's a lot of juice left in the tank for a lot of our favorite DeFi picks. Also, someone brought up Marinade. Absolutely, I am bullish on Marinade. Marinade is a great DeFi auxiliary play to Solana. Absolutely love Marinade and what they do. And I think that we're underselling a lot of the potential of this altcoin sector because we have not seen the actual results of what will happen when ETFs get released for these particular altcoins. We can sit here and guess and be like, oh, no one's going to be interested. It's all going to just remain Bitcoin. And now it's all going to just remain Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? Wait, because Wall Street's starting to wake up and they're stacking Ethereum too. what we're talking about on, these company treasuries of good digital assets is a very, very serious conversation. We see it really kind of picking up some steam here. I've seen a lot of movement, not, we talk about the stable coins and the influx there, but this was very, very interesting info. So corporate treasuries are loading up in 2025. They added 825,000 Ethereum worth $3 billion and 2.9 million Solana worth $531 million to their reserve. This is SharpLink Gaming, Bitmine, Bit Digital, Apexi, DeFi Development Corp, BTCS, Soul Strategies, InChains, and these other smaller investors here. But this is the beginning of something very, very interesting that we've seen the fever pitch and kind of how much respect strategy has now demanded. Strategy has all eyes on it in terms of Wall Street, and that is starting to leak into now the concept of doing your treasury with Ethereum or Solana. Now, it'll be interesting to see how those corporate treasuries are set up to see if these companies can dump at the peak of those assets, because I think that there's still altcoins and they still will have a much more violent up and down movement, right, over the next few years. I can absolutely say that. But it is very, very interesting to see a lot of those, kind of obscure companies, in my opinion, right? I mean, they're obscure now, but some of these might actually end up being household names, just like what we see Strategy doing. They're playing the altcoin sector, bigger risk, bigger reward, and they are putting their neck out for that reward. Speaking of putting their neck out for reward, let's see where we're at right now. We're at 33%. Gains, let's see here. We're up 33% on this Aave long. Maybe might be ready to take profit. Let's go check out Bitcoin. Oh, come on, baby. Let's go, Bitcoin. Let's go, Bitcoin. Let's go. This is a 3-minute chart. This is total degen stuff. Notably, though, something else I forgot to mention and highlight, reemphasize on Bitcoin as we're sitting here dealing with this price action, is we are now trying to rebound off the top end of this trend line to the downside that we've been experiencing in this overall range. You have that initial kind of euphoric pump up to 123,200, and now we're sitting here ranging, trying to break back out of here. But something I was been highlighting is a more likely process like this, where you come up, bounce off of it, and then get that velocity to the upside. So we'll see if that we end up pulling off here. Absolutely printing on this, baby. Oh my God. We're at maybe I should just clip it out of G. Yeah, it's always nice to make a grand while I'm sitting here yapping about crypto being so great. You can tell it's pretty good. I mean, it's got some juice to it. There's definitely some juice to this market here. Now, more juice is going to be added by Strategy, raising $2 billion to buy more Bitcoin. Absolute savage, top blasting gladiator, just creme de la creme. Shout out to you, Strategy, Michael Saylor. Yes, the amount of crypto that you have, it scares me. I'm not going to lie. The amount of crypto that Strategy holds, all of these other organizations hold, it's concerning. But it's setting a precedent for the rest of Wall Street. I've been buying these bags before the time frame that we're in right now has come, and the benefits are immense. So I'm not too worried about it here. Sailor the Bear Slayer. Have you looked at Black Hole? Yes, sir. I have looked at that black hole. Boy, howdy. Here we go. If they have officially crossed $200 million in TVL in less than 2 weeks since their launch. Black Hole has been going on an absolute rampage. Very, very interesting and expected for me to see Avalanche and a DeFi ecosystem within Avalanche absolutely go ballistic. Avalanche is a great chain. You have really Avalanche has projects on it, and even the memes, they last longer on Avalanche, I feel like. So seeing the Black token and Black Hole achieve this amount of success, absolutely love seeing it. I'm cheering on it hardcore from the sidelines. I didn't get in yet, but I still might actually do so. Because even though we have some concerns about what Aave has been doing I think that the expansion of DeFi is inevitable. So that being said, I'm probably going to end up picking up some black token as well. Black hole percent rates on Horde on DeFi. Maybe those return rates need to be gamed a little bit. Maybe they will. That's the thing. They're a new protocol, so it'll be interesting to see what they do to kind of pull in the lights. What up, Patton McCrotch? Good to see you. Good to see you. Yeah, black hole is one of those. There's a couple projects that I am having FOMO on that I think have good seasonal upside. I will take a look at those. I got a great question from a channel member, an OG basement member that asked me, Drew, your father is DeFi better than you. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Unreal. The main thing that I like is tracking where the TVL is going, and then I can just buy the token. I am actively trading. So there is that. AVAX to Ethereum chart. That sounds like an interesting look. Let's hop on over to that. That's actually a very, very good idea. Let's go look at Avalanche compared to Ethereum. Ooh. Okay. Wow. Ethereum getting dominant here. Ethereum holding the line. Yeah, we haven't really seen Avalanche break that $30 level. I think that $30 level is acting pretty sticky for AVAX right now. We're at $24. Let's pull up right here. Yeah, we're at $24.21. The AVAX to ETH chart, though, I don't know if this is shown on my screen or not. This is Ethereum really, really flexing. Ethereum is flexing real hard right now, so gotta watch out for that because Ethereum's probably got some room to run too. Right? Not winner take all in this situation. I think that AVAX will have its a definite pile of moments in this alt cycle, but very interesting to see. Let's see here. Nothing. I think I've changed a little bit. Changed out portfolios a few times. Sometimes you have to consolidate the portfolio. This trade, we're going, let's go. I don't know. I mean, it's going really well. It's tough to see if I should close or not. I'll wait till I see this enter kind of like the sell zone, historical sell zone. I mean, we by all means, this could be the moment we're able to break above and beyond this. But you know what? I'm actively trading the range, right? So it's working pretty good trading the range. I like developing trading ranges as a trader. Obviously, we love DeFi and I love protocols in DeFi, but you know what? Trading, it's a good thing to do too. Hey, if you are interested in trading, join our Discord. We got Discover Investments Group Discord down in the chat here. Let's see here. I want to go on to the rest of these stories. We got a lot of stuff. To cover. So we got RLUSD, a connection potentiality with the Bank of America. Now, the stablecoin behind Ripple is something when I saw it come out, I knew that it was going to compete aggressively with the narrative, kind of the whole financial sector takeover that XRP, the token, has. It is being looked at right now. Bank of America is talking about many banks are preparing to launch stablecoins. And there's that whole question of which chain will they mint on. Now, I want to just kind of ask you guys this. We see, XRP has been dancing around potentialities for years. It's great at dancing around these potentialities. It does look like Bank of America is moving towards this process, but JP Morgan's essentially kind of warning, calling this $2 trillion stablecoin market forecast optimistic, right? They're citing that the underdevelopment of stablecoin infrastructure is going to slow the adoption pace here. It suggests that the growth will likely double or triple from current levels rather than the projected 8x increase by 2028. So JP Morgan's being like, wait a minute, we haven't quite figured out how to make enough money off this yet. So we're not ready to release it. Bank of America, the signaling, many banks will be moving into this. This is something to ask yourselves. Like, maybe we're just seeing this initial influx, this massive influx of stable coins and this, treasuries backing stable coins, this marriage between TradFi and crypto, it came in a very, very weird way, mind you. I mean, now we're like tied to buying government debt to keeping the ecosystem expanding. Like what? If you're old school when it comes to crypto, you know what I mean. I mean, that is totally against the ethos of what Bitcoin is made for. Bitcoin is made for peer-to-peer transactions and to circumvent government involvement. Now we're seeing like stable coins becoming slaves to treasury bills in the long term, and you're going to end up reaping what you sow. It's probably going to extend the lifespan of the fiat dollar by 50 years doing this marriage with stable coins. And then both of the systems will likely collapse in on each other because they're going to print to infinity at the treasury, the private the Circle USDC token. That thing is going to usher in a level of quantitative easing that would make 2020 blush. I would say that. Absolutely. Can I check out the Luna chart? Why must you do this to me? Fine. We're going in. We're going into Luna. We're going into Luna. I haven't looked at this in forever. Is it this one? Terra, you have Terra Classic, Terra. Which one is this? I mean, this looks about right. Looks like a nightmare. What are you making me look at? Why are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this to me? We're bringing up some old school pain here. For anyone that doesn't know, Luna and the collapse of it basically kickstarted the larger bear market that we were stuck in for so long. Oh my God. Like, look at this. Look at this. Look at this graph. So right about here in this zone-ish is where Luna basically fell apart. We had Celsius go under, and then FTX kicked us right between the legs and got us down to $15,000 of just about per Bitcoin. I remember the time. It was very brutal. That was kind of the time frame where I actually started on the blockchain basement too. We were talking about the cost to mine Bitcoin being a more logical floor for it. Luna that's total. What do you call that? I got trauma from that. I have absolute trauma from that. So shout out to that. Check out this. Got 1,000 in profits. I'll let the chat decide. Give me a 1 in chat if you want me to close it. 2 in chat if we keep it open. A lot of money to be made in these markets, as you can see. Now, something insane happened. Pump came out and essentially dumped very, very hard. Pump token is in free fall. We will go look at the pump chart really quickly because this was all the hype. The trenches were hyped up about it. Now it's at $1 billion market cap. So it's not under $1 billion, right? But it has hit extreme lows from where it was released at it. Peak TVL or overall market cap was about 2.3 bill. We're down to 1 bill flat. Okay. Things are bad. Buyers of pump token, mad. Pump token will likely follow a maddening situation, a maddening scenario this cycle. And I love Follis's words on it. Pump will wait until every MFer who tried to long it has been liquidated. Every short-term trader has been stopped out. Every long-term investor has capitulated, and everyone is convinced it's a scam. No one is talking about it, and then it will send. I really feel like he's pretty spot on with this analysis. It's probably like, I don't know exactly where the floor on this project is. It just came out, right? It just came out. But I'm looking for them to hit overdrive and get it to pump right before the end of alt season, or kind of during the fog of alt euphoria. They'll pump this thing back up. So I am watching for a general chart pattern to play out in that regard. So just some things to think about. Just some things to think about. Crypto, if it was easy, everyone would do it and everyone is winning at the casino. That's not the case. Crypto, you have to be very dedicated to, you have to be focused on, unless you're just putting money into Bitcoin, right? If you're getting into altcoins though, you better be involved with what you're looking at here. Pump.done. That's right, man. Absolutely ridiculous. Now, where things are in terms of liquidity, in terms of people being wrecked, $9 billion worth of Bitcoin shorts are set for liquidation if Bitcoin hits $125,000. Currently, let's go take a look at the liquidation levels. I'll have to make this a little bit smaller on you, but bigger for me in the short term. Short-term liquidity, we do have a pile here at about 100 million block, 26 million block. There's a good amount down here at the 115,900 zone. And this is shorter term liquidity, not including that huge pile. Should we reach $125,000 a coin, that would be, people would lose their minds, honestly. And you know, in that kind of run, where how things really take off is shorts come piling in. At every new number that no one thought was possible, the shorts just keep piling in, piling in, and getting absolutely decimated. So, yeah, that is something just to keep in mind. Things come at you quick. And this is also kind of coming at us quick. A lot of these founders are now changing their profile pictures to Pudgy Penguins. Pudgy, the token, the price action has been very, very humpy, very uppity. Let's go take a look at Pudgy, because Pudgy has dug itself out of a deep trench. And this actually was likely going to mirror something like Pump at a point. Pump will broaden out. It'll find that floor and then just go ballistic as everyone's faded them. Pudgy Penguins has indeed done that. So now just over the last month, they are up 308%. A major, major move from these floors that we were just in, you know, on Pudgy token. Now it is absolutely crushing. Bullish on Pith with Ondo connections? No, I'm not bullish on Pith. It's, you know, I acknowledge it. It's nice to have competition with Chainlink, but Pith, the nail in the coffin for Pith was when Solana integrated with Chainlink, right? When Solana integrated with Chainlink, that should have been the red flag for everyone in that wait a minute, something ain't right. Solana went and chose Chainlink instead of Pith, which was the you know, kind of competitor, I guess you could say. It was a Solana-based competitor of Chainlink. So now Floki chart looking prime for a breakout, bro. Check out Floki. I mean, chaos is coming to the markets. You're probably not wrong. Let's go look at Floki. Let's go look at Floki. It's not a small meme. This is a number 73 project. So it's got a $1.2 billion market cap. Very, very aggressive W pattern playing out in the shorter term on this. W patterns are one of the better long-term chart patterns that I like looking at. You know, so I am keeping that in mind. Higher lows. I mean, this is not looking bad at all. This is not looking bad at all. You see something concerning though, over the last 24 hours, the volume has dropped off. Price hasn't quite happened yet. So just keep an eye out for that. But, you know, the fever pitch comes back to memes. A lot of these are going to send. It's about like keeping the lights on, not rugging everyone, and just being a focused crypto project. I think if you just do those combination of things, you're going to have the chance to rise to the top in this environment. This is a situation where all boats rise with the tide. Let's check a look at this. Caffeine AI getting called out by Bitcoin Carpet Cleaner on Twitter to me. Anyone looking at Caffeine AI product ICP released last week? We've been waiting for this forever, and it's here. Wondering if you have any constructive thoughts on it. I mean, first and foremost, where the hell's the marketing for it? Right? That was the first thing that came to my mind when I read this. Is like, if this product, Caffeine AI, that you've been working so hard on, is right about to come out, why is there not any advertisement for it? Like, if I am holding a project and I see a milestone moment like that coming up for the project, and then nothing is really, you know, pushed out, I wonder what the hell's going on. You know, what the hell's going on with that? So that kind of concerns me. I think ICP in general concerns me. I think, you know, the idea of taking over the entire internet and putting it all on Web3 immediately, as we have clear and obvious roadblocks ahead of us with getting the Internet of Things into place, is the power structures that exist right now. They're trying to figure out a way to allow crypto to exist and to innovate, but also not be usurped out of their transactional fees or their control of the consumer data like these media conglomerates have. Like, you can't just swap everything over to Web3 in an instant and expect no repercussions. Just not how things are done. So ICP putting everything on the internet in this cycle is absolutely ridiculous. I'm sure it'll be speculated on to a degree. To what degree, I can't tell you. I got in and out of it. I kind of felt the vibe, the shift in the marketing, very lackluster marketing. And ICP really is still riding pretty low levels. Like, let's be real here. ICP is still at like bear market level accumulation levels, if you want to call it that. This is insane. When you have, I can't even get over this. Like, I bought 2 tokens for $200 a piece back here, and then I bought another one at $100, and then 2 more at 50, and then I was like, all right, it dropped below 50. I got out, sold everything. Then I just, out of revenge, I bought as much as I possibly could at $3, and G did it all at $16. It's at $5 now, and man, I mean, over the month you're at 14%, but I've seen a lot of better gains. Look at the very flat reaction to this altcoin. I mean, you're seeing a flat, basically, reaction on ICP's price action, yet that catalyst that we're all looking for, Bitcoin dominance falling off, and then Ethereum can run, and then altcoins run with it. Like, we're having a degree of pullback on Bitcoin dominance as we speak, and we still see very, very minimal reaction from ICP. So this, I just had to say it. This is the data as I see it. You know, if it changes and there comes a time where, you know, ICP can absolutely rip, I'm happy for the holders. I hope you guys do well. I really do. But I mean, it's got a lot of sell. There's a lot of people that got in at like 12. You know, this is the March of 24. This is remember the March of 2024. Where is it? Is it actually, I guess it pumped really December of 2024, right around the inauguration timeframe. There's a lot of people that got in at like this $12 zone. The hype was there. The altcoin super cycle narrative was there. And this altcoin sector simply just didn't pull through, right? Please look at Jasmcoin in your opinion. Sure. Zima, I will look at Jasmcoin. Kind of flowing with it here. Bam. All right, let's pull this up. Yeah, I mean, this is it's not as bad of a situation. I mean, the all-time graph is a worse situation. The yearly, I mean, you're going to have sell pressure for sure at 20 or 2 cents rather. Jasmy, it's such a big market cap, nearly $1 billion market cap, and I just have never gotten over the fact that they can't put a bunch of money into the website. I feel like this website representing $1 billion coin is bearish for me. So there's that. And then, you know, the volume's down currently. Like, I don't know. It just kind of seems a little played out to me. It just seems a little played out to me. That's all. I don't have anything against it. Like, I hope people that hold it do well. It's just, it's seeming kind of flattish. You know, it doesn't seem like there's much juice in with what's going on right now. And if you're not sitting on bags that are like 2x or 3x, and you know, you're still like trying to get a entry point release on a token, it's time to think long and hard if that token was the right move or not, right? So we do have to look at that. I do have some tokens that I'm asking that same question about after I've seen a combination of things happen. So Ethereum is active loans leading protocols with $30 billion, up $27 billion since January 23. So some great increase in active loans on Ethereum, right? Ethereum all-time highs are in, you know, the mind's eye of a lot of great traders, a lot of creators here. Virtual Bacon, shout out to him, does great work. Giving a download on what happens when Ethereum pumps. Now he's highlighting the current pullback on Bitcoin dominance here. If it breaks below the bottom end of this trend line, where it fallen to after Christmas of 24, some real nasty upside chaos is coming to Ethereum and really good altcoins in general. It's highlighting some of the better projects out here. DeFi still matters. You got the Uniswap, the Link, the Curve, the Compound. Really good write-up, honestly. And then top RWA projects. He brings up Centrifuge, which is a very interesting RWA play. Syrup, which is a new integration of what was Maple. Early on in the rollout of RWAs, I could tell Syrup was going to have a strong, at least, media presence, and it's kept the lights on. done I think new setup to the token, so I'd have to relook at that and that ecosystem. Checks, I keep hearing a lot about. I think the chart is very well underwater right now. So if this checks thing actually ends up playing out, that'd be some major upside. Then Aptos, kind of the unsung hero on RWA side, because Aptos, it's got an interesting lore, right? Aptos has got an interesting lore. It's teams that were part of the Facebook Libra token development were basically split up and they disbanded into one project that everyone knows and adores right now, which is Sui, right? But then the other kind of arm that was created out of this OG team, these people that were behind the Libra Facebook stablecoin, went on to make Aptos. Now, Aptos is a graph. It's very aggravating. And honestly, I kind of got out when the music was stopping at the end of last year of 2024. I'm glad I did. I don't think I got out nearly at the peak. Got out of this. I got in at like $5 or $6 and got out for a flat line. So I didn't lose anything. But things really started to cascade downhill. Now they're at $4.70. Haven't seen that real reaction that the rest of the market has seen. So it is interesting to see Aptos and how cooked they are into RWAs, not really experiencing that price increase rather. Just leads you to maybe wonder, maybe Sui's just the faster horse this race, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong because we're out here, we're speculating on one altcoin or the next, and seeing where the DeFi TVLs are. And that's what we got to look at next. But it's all about having the gumption to take the profits when they're there too, right? You got to be able to have the gumption to take the profits. Now, let's take a look at this. New incentives are going live on Base from Aave, a behemoth in DeFi. Aave is a major, major cornerstone of DeFi, especially with Ethereum. Now you can borrow USDC or GHO and migrate your assets to Aave to start earning. Okay, so this is a reach across the table to the integration of the Base ecosystem into Aave as well. And really, if we're sitting back here, okay, Base has basically captured Ethereum and is using all the smart contract ability, all of the DeFi capabilities of Ethereum at a fraction of the cost because they have their own chain, right? This is Coinbase capturing Ethereum, the concept me and BJ talked about 2.5 years ago. It's here. But if we think that the main portion or one of the main players in DeFi on Ethereum is not going to reach out and want access to that liquidity, we're kidding ourselves. We're kidding ourselves. Now, there are some people that are feeling a little bit aggravated about this, and we got to talk about it here. I do want to find a particular post about this from Luke Youngblood. Luke Youngblood, we had on the blockchain basement, and he gave us some really incredible alpha about a product he was building out, working with, called Mamo. We'll take a look at Mamo's chart after this, but this is what's going on, kind of the internal struggle that's happening between Base DeFi and Aave right now. Can you smell the desperation? Let me ask you, fellow Base enjoyers, has Aave ever done anything for you? Do you support any assets on Base besides ETH and USDC? Do they support Aerodrome, Morpho, Well, or Virtual? F no. So now, what do we tell him? F you. Man, he's heated. He's heated, man. He's highlighting. I mean, this is going to come. This is direct competition with a good basket of some of my favorite projects. We saw a heavy sell-off on Moonwell yesterday. It is being talked about, conversated, that part of that sell-off on Moonwell yesterday could have come as a result of this little tug-of-war that's going on right now. Got another, I believe I know this guy from the show here. His thoughts on it. Aave, why are you using the protocol funds or founders' personal funds to suppress competition? Are you scared of Moonwell? Are you scared of Base creating a better lending and borrowing protocol? Should you bring that attention to your users on why you're blowing funds suppressing the token price of another protocol? It was first noticeable when you attacked Gauntlet and you tried to get rid of them. Now you've come to realize Aave's entire time of suppressing price action of another token. Aave been suppressing the price of Well tokens since November. And I've come to realize most likely will be them running bots to try and suppress a lot of the Base coins, including Arrow and multiple others. So just some interesting thoughts there. There is a little bit of arbitrage going on. I wonder if how much effect it's really going to have, though, because Morpho, let's chop it up here. Let's chop it up. So Morpho is integrated with Coinbase's app. The Morpho ecosystem provides lending of Bitcoin. It takes Bitcoin and lends out USDC within Coinbase. I think Morpho is actually pretty insulated from this situation. Moonwell has some other things that are very much so going for it. Moonwell has kicked the door open somehow. I don't know all the details. I know we had Luke Youngblood on the show and he went over all those details, but it's still just kind of shocking. Somehow you're able to get a routing number and a bank account number on Moonwell, right? So Moonwell absolutely has some lore, some interesting connections going on for it. Aerodrome's still the main landing spot. Again, a internal integration of Coinbase rolling out a DEX within. I think they're going to be just fine. I think they're going to be just fine. And really, this rollout, this competitive rollout from Aave, they want access to what they know is going. This tells us that we're looking down the right road. This tells us that they know that Base ecosystem is going to get involved with hundreds of billions of dollars in transactions from institutions that are going in and out of small cap coins, which is insane opportunity within that ecosystem. If you really sit back and think about this, they are fighting for access points to a port that me and you and everyone that already knew Base was going to take over have identified ahead of time. We're positioned well. They're fighting over our ground. This is bullish. This is bullish for us. So fear not. I think that I think everything's just fine in that. Really what we see is just the beginning. Like altcoins, Ethereum is at like an 11% market dominance. We think that's the peak of Ethereum, really. You know, when we see World LibertyFi stacking Ethereum, we see a ETF that's going to stake coming up here from BlackRock. BlackRock says that they're going to get it. They're going to get it. BlackRock's won 580 out of the last 581 applications to the SEC for ETF approvals. I think BlackRock's going to get what they're asking for. So this is coming and being positioned. I think that DeFi summer of last bull market, very bullish, but that was peanuts compared to an institutional grade DeFi movement. This is where things can absolutely get ballistic. So this is where I'm happy to be a position ahead of it. You know, I hope you guys are too. I think that this spat between Aave and the Base ecosystem, they are fighting for real estate on a road that we already own a piece of. If you already own Morpho tokens, if you already own Aerodrome token, you're a position ahead of this movement. Now, as long as some major black swan event doesn't occur, which is always a potentiality, it's not a probability, but it's potential. I don't base my investments off of potentials. I base them off of probabilities. I got this message from right now. Drew Isaac had someone just asked me to invest 50K. What would it be? What do I tell them? Man, you know what? What I'd say, and obviously this is not financial advice, is that the starting points for crypto should always be Bitcoin and education. I think Bitcoin and education start you. As far as the traditional Wall Street side, you know, they look at crypto auxiliaries like Coin, like Circle. I think those are very strong. We're going to see some of those companies that are doing the ETH strategy and the Sol strategy probably do very, very well in the short term. If those altcoins somehow hold up, then those are like the next princes of Wall Street, but not probable, just possible, right? So we got to keep that in mind here. We're still cooking on the trade. Shout out to anyone that got in on this trade with me in the Discover Investments Group Discord. We're up 42% since entry point. We're feeling good. The markets are kicking over. I do wonder if Bitcoin's coming back up to this sell block here. It looks like we're getting close, folks. I got guardrails on my general trading process. I got guardrails on it. You know, I'm not going to hold this trade open in perpetuity and hope it just keeps going up. But it has gone up really well for me right now. We are actually starting to really break out here. Wait a minute. All right, we're up near 50%. Jeez. Jesus. we're getting close to that sell block. I might just want to kill it while we're on stream here, just to have kind of a fun close to a trade. I'm going to be having some fun going to the gym now. We've got a lot of things going on. Isaac's moving around the gym. He's moving around studio equipment. So we got a lot of things in flux. But you know what? We print on, we stack on. This is the life we live in crypto. You know what I mean? We're degens. We identify levels. We take action on those levels. Shout out to it, man. That's feeling good. Bitcoin is really, really starting to get some footing and try to punch through this freaking sell box here. Now, where we go after this, I mean, obviously that 125 mark represents billions of dollars in liquidations of shorts. But if we can do what I've been looking out for about a week now and bounce off this downward trend line, get us that juice, go liquidate the shorts, prove this spot as support, and cook on from there. Let's see here. Drew or Discover, what's your take profit level for ETH? You know, ETH, that's a great question. I think ETH has a lot of legs. I did some videos on just exactly where I think ETH is going on this video. For the blockchain basement, we do pre-recorded videos. And it was this conversation right here. And kind of the overall outlook is $10,000 possible for Ethereum. Be really appreciative of you guys if you went over there and gave this video some love. I've worked for years on the blockchain basement, trying to grow this. We're still doing our videos, nightly videos, about 3 times a week on here, and a bunch of shorts. So go give this channel some love. This is my baby right here. This is where I come from. This is where I got all my chops from. Now I've been blessed enough to come out and talk on Discover Crypto. Usually I'm just like the guy in the background doing like the research or like organizing the cameras or whatever. I'm feeling really, really blessed to be in front of you guys and be talking about my favorite projects in crypto. And I'll talk crap about them. If I see a reason to talk crap about, I will FUD my own bags with a smile on my face if it is due. Absolutely. Having some more of this. You know what? Let's see where Bitcoin's going. You know what? We might want to close this bad boy. Yeah, let's check out Stacks. Because Stacks is, I've seen kind of a loss of layer 2 Bitcoin narrative. I will say that. Like the vibe, the general like lore of layer 2s on Bitcoin, it just hasn't really been in the room for a while. You know, and I'm bullish on the concept as all get out, right? Like I'm very bullish on the concept of building on Bitcoin, advancing Bitcoin. The lack of movement on Stacks is a little concerning. Just looking at this, like from the backed up view here, you have a W pattern definitely developing. All right, you see this larger W pattern ended up playing out really nicely. You do have a W pattern, kind of a double bottom with rising levels of support. You have higher lows, rising levels of support for price to be held up at pretty consistently throughout its experience here. Has not pumped nearly like the rest of the market has in the shorter term. Yes, you went from about 60 cents up to 89 cents, which is a good move. It did follow to a degree. It's up 19%. Nothing like 100% gains, blow your hair back, which is probably why it's not being mentioned too much. This actually does look pretty good on the year. Very symmetrical W pattern being built out now outside of some major, rise in dominance or, a black swan event. I can see Stacks doing well. It's at a $1.2 billion market cap. Most of the supply is out already. So that's good, but it also might play into a lack of incentive for early investors / VCs to pump the token and get kind of the lore about it going if the token releases are nearly complete. So we got to keep an eye out on that. Keep that in mind as well. As far as like Drew, is Drew buying Stacks? No, I'm not buying Stacks. I think that there's going to be bigger players, mortgage companies, major players kind of taking the reins over when it comes to building out financial products on Bitcoin. And I do, I think Bitcoin would be better left as just a mecca store of value for the larger ecosystem to be built on. We want to revamp finance as we know it. But I think we got to take it slow. We got to bite off chunks of the financial system that we can chew and actually improve upon before we move into the ICP narrative of we're putting the internet on Web3 and everyone's going to have a Bored Ape NFT to be able to get into this digital club, and then you can go to the digital club, blah, blah, blah. I don't think that we're there yet. I think we're pretty far away from that. Also, things that I don't think we're too close from are Federal Chair Jerome Powell resigning. I think we're pretty far out from this. Secretary Howard Lutnick of Commerce Secretary called for his resignation yesterday as well. Cynthia Loomis reminding people Jerome Powell allowed Choke Point 2.0 to happen under his watch. Time for him to go. She seems a little bit salty about it. But then you have Donald Trump visiting the Federal Reserve, which is, this was put out yesterday. It's now today. So Trump's in there. I'm sure they're going to work something out. They're going to kiss and make up, kind of like what we see Trump kissing and make up with Elon about business-wise. He says he wants Elon Musk and all U.S. businesses to thrive like never before. So just some things to digest. The world is moving fast. Finance is moving fast. These charts are moving faster than ever. I hope you're positioned ahead of this major influx. If you have greater wish to find out about, the best options in terms of, let's say you got an IRA or you got, long-term investments that you want to look at and potentially getting access to the crypto realm, make sure to give our channel sponsor and partner a call. This is Bitcoin IRA. Give them a call at 877-936-7175. Again, 877-936-7175. This is a real person that'll answer the phone for you. They'll give you all the information you need to find out about the tax advantages of an IRA environment for your long-term holds here. So you can trade up to 75 different projects in there. It's a pretty good setup. And also, shout out to our channel partner and sponsor, Arculus. Okay. Arculus cold storage devices. They come in this sleek packaging. You can use code BASE20 or DC20 to get 20% off your Arculus card today. We got a link down in the description. I love and appreciate you guys. I got some familiar faces from the blockchain basement up in here and many, many new faces. Very awesome to see you and get all of your questions addressed here on the show today. I hope you're staying focused on this market as things change very, very quickly. And we got to watch where the money's flowing to and from to be able to increase our bag holdings over time. That is the whole goal here, is to change our monetary future forever. So stay based, stay focused. Love and appreciate you guys. And I will see you on the next show. Take care.